Most people are trying to avoid insects. Me, on the other hand, I do everything I can to invite them into my garden. As an example, just the other day I'm working out here and a young lady comes by to offer me a really good deal on some pest control services. My immediate response is like, "Oh, no you don't, not around here." I get this kind of confused look from her and I said, "I'm doing everything I can to provide an environment that's inviting and safe for insects to come visit." She looks at me and she says like, "Well, what about ants? I can give you a good deal on that." I was like, "No, ants are not a problem. Ants are scavengers. They're just crawling around, cleaning up debris off the garden. And nobody wants them in the house, of course. So if I have that issue, I can just do a little boric acid along the entrance. No problem, I got that." She's like, "Well, what are you doing then?" I said, "Well, the plants I select are specifically for the insects. So I plant, for example, things like the oak leaf hydrangea because the honeybees come to it. I plant flowers like the yarrow over there because the hoverflies come to it. And now those hoverflies are attracted to their flowers, their larvae become predators of other insect pests. So by doing this, by having a balance of different flowers and diversity in here, I'm able to create a safe environment for insects that are welcome here. I don't have to use any kind of pesticides. And what little issues do show up, I can easily manage on my own." So that's what I want to do today, is kind of show you around a few examples of how we can all coexist together, and it's going to give us a better, safer environment and a beautiful garden. Creating an insect-friendly garden begins with the plant selection. My top criteria in deciding what to plant really is diversity. I want a diversity of flower forms. I want blooms at all different times of the season. And when I have this diversity of plants, it in turn supports a diverse population of insects. Yarrow is a fantastic example. This is a native plant that has these tiny, tiny little flowers in here. And these little tiny nectaries in turn attract little tiny flies called hoverflies. That attracts little tiny wasps. And the nice thing about that is while they're here pollinating the flower, they lay their eggs and then their larvae in turn feed on other insects such as aphids. So by having these predatory insects in my garden, it means that I don't have to intervene with other insecticides. So yarrow is here for that specific purpose. Plus I love it. Coneflower. This is a plant that many of us know because it's now available in a lot of different colors, and it is a tough, sturdy plant and will bloom for you all summer long. What's nice about this what we call composite bloom, is this is composed of, again, little tiny flowers. So if you're a bumblebee or a butterfly, you can land, you can park yourself here, take a rest, and actually feed for nectar and pollen on that collection of flowers that are found in the head. Down in front of it, I've got the black and blue salvia. This isn't annual, so I do have to replace it each year for us. But I have to have it because I've got a hummingbird that will come here every evening to see what flowers have opened and tap that one for nectar. And of course, who doesn't love having hummingbirds? Right below it, you'll see I've got the perennial salvia. And feeding on today is I've got the bumblebees. Again, this is a small bloom that allows the bumblebees to get in there and search for the nectar and the pollen, which they'll pack up and take home with them to start to feed their young. And also helps the plants in terms of producing seed and reproduction. Dill. I let dill just grow at random. I seeded it into my garden about 2 years ago, and each year it just self-seeds and comes back. Personally, I don't cook, so it's not there so much for me, but it's there specifically because this is a great larval food for the black swallowtail. Their caterpillars will feed on this. And then we get to enjoy the adults. The butterflies fly around. They have plants like penstemon and the turtlehead and stuff to feed them. And then when they flower, they again have these little tiny nectaries that provide a good pollen and nectar source, both for these little tiny hoverflies and other bees that are there. So by incorporating all these flowers at different times, it creates a great environment for the insects to live in. It creates a great source of enjoyment for me in watching all this happen and learning about it, and it helps support a healthy ecosystem. If you're interested in having a more insect-friendly garden and have any questions, please stop by to see us. where our plant specialists are always ready to help.